Hello, I'm Mrs. Corley. I was really looking forward to getting to meet a lot of you parents tonight, but I'm a cross-country coach and our pre-region meet got moved to the same day as Meet the Teacher. So while I am very bummed that I don't get to meet a lot of you, I am definitely loving being with my athletes tonight. I'll put my contact information at the end of this presentation. Definitely feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I love to meet with parents, and I send out a weekly newsletter. If you're not getting it, I would really love to know, because I would love to be in touch with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Just a little bit about me. I'm one of our 4 biology teachers at Fountain Inn High School. This is my second year at Fountain Inn. Last year, I taught biology, and then I coached girls cross country and track. I am relatively new to the Fountain Inn area. I moved to South Carolina about a year ago from New Mexico. A little bit about my background. I went to school at New Mexico State University. While I was there, I got my degree in biology, as well as my degree in teaching secondary science. While I was at New Mexico State University, I ran cross country and track while getting my undergraduate degrees. After graduating, I moved from New Mexico to South Carolina, and then me and my husband got married last March. So before this year, I taught biology here last year. While I was at New Mexico State University, I was an embedded tutor for biology and chemistry courses. I did a HHMI student study working in a nematology research lab, and then I taught AP Physics as my student teaching. Getting into what I'm actually teaching your child, biology is a study of life. So this class is very hands-on. We will have some lecturing, a lot of activities, and then some hands-on labs. So just over the course of this semester, we're going to study mainly cells and how they work to maintain life processes in organisms. So we'll go over cell structure, how cells reproduce, where they get their energy from, metabolism. We'll look at genetics, making proteins. We'll look at ecology and the environment, and we'll look at how species change over time. There are some special materials that are required for my class. I keep a binder to keep students very organized. I'll give out notes on colored paper. So students need to have a binder, and they should already have those set up. If your student informed me that they didn't have a binder, I provided them one. So at this point, they should all have binders. They will have dividers to section off each unit. They should have some notebook paper to do their science starters, and then some colored pencils. We'll be coloring pretty often. The other thing that your student should already have is their lab goggles and aprons. They're required for lab. If you paid for them on My School Bucks or sent your child to school with $5, that's taken care of. If you have not paid, your child is on a list that I'll need to collect $5 from them before the semester is over, and that is a required material for all science classes at Fountain Inn High School. Looking at my website, this is the Fountain Inn website. If you ever want to kind of find my area, you're going to go to staff, down to science, and I'm right here. If you do view my site, it will take you to my Google site. There's a little bit about me. For this class, you'll want to be looking at the biology section. You can see my mission statement. The course syllabus can be found on the website, as well as all of my lesson plans. So I do them by unit, which usually spans more than 1 week. So just look at the dates on the units as well. If you open them up, you can see what we're doing on every day, the standards that we're addressing, as well as any materials that were handed out. If your student is absent, this is also a great place to look on where they're caught or where they need to get caught up. I also post the notes for my classroom. Anything that we've gone over, students can go back and look throughout the semester as they're reviewing at the end of the year. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is my Google Classroom page. Parents can join Google Classroom as a viewer. So this is the class code. You can add yourself as a guardian. I'd encourage you to always go over to classwork because of the way that I structure it. I post a topic for every week. And then I also compile the notes down at the bottom. If your student is absent, this is another place they can look. I post everything that is typically on my board. So I have our objective, why we would want to study that, exactly what we're doing that day, and then any reminders that I have for what's coming up. There's also attached any notes or worksheets that were given out in class. So this is another resource when students are out that I expect them to be looking at before they come to me and ask, what did I miss? A little bit of parent info. Remember, you can view my lesson plans on my website if you're ever curious about what we're doing. And I would encourage you to use Parent Backpack to keep up with your student grades. The other thing that I utilize Backpack for is sending out my newsletter each unit or each week. And I use the email address or phone number that's in there. So if your info is not up to date on Backpack, I would highly suggest and encourage you to do that so that I can be in contact with you. Addressing homework in my class, I rarely assign actual homework in biology where I send it home, blank, ask for it due the next day. While I avoid that, I do expect that students will be studying nightly because we cover a very large volume of material in one semester. Waiting till the end to be stressful is very, very stressful for students. So I would encourage students to be, putting aside 30 minutes a night to be studying for this class. The nice thing about block is that they should only have 1 or 2 core classes during the semester. So they should have that time set aside for their core classes. If students don't finish their classwork that they've had time to do in class, I will ask that that gets completed at home before the next day. The grading policy in my class, this is actually across any classes that have an EOC. Minor grades are worth 40% of the 9-week grade. Major grades, which are tests and projects, they're worth 60% of the 9-week grade. And then each 9 weeks will be worth 45% of the total grade, and the end, or 40%, sorry, of the total grade, and the end of course exam will make up 20% of their final grade. Addressing late work, students are allowed to turn in late work for up to 3 school days, but each day up to 10% can be taken off for that late work. I am pretty flexible with circumstances, so if you need extra time, please let me know and we can work together. The only time this changes is if your student was actually absent. Absent students will have 5 days from their absence to complete what they missed. Students also have the chance to redo any major assessment that they fail, which would be less than 60%. The only thing that this does not include is the end of course exam. The end of course exam, whatever they make, is the grade they get. I do require some form of remediation before students do a second attempt on any major grades in my class. That can be often using a platform called Edgenuity that I would walk your student through how to sign in online. It could be test corrections or just tutoring over the material that they struggled with me in the morning. So moving on to tutoring, I offer extra help during our flex time, which is 8:15 to 8:45 on Tuesdays. I do ask that you fill out the Google form found on the front page of my website. That's just so that it puts it on my calendar and I know that someone will be coming in the morning. During tutoring, I can offer students help with their homework or classwork that they didn't finish. We can go over the notes in more detail, and students will have time to ask any questions that maybe they still have lingering after class. If you have any questions for me, this is my email. It's ccorley@greenville. Again, I'm very sorry that I didn't get to meet you tonight, and I definitely look forward to being in contact with you. If you have any questions about my course or just want to touch base, feel free to email me. We can set up a time to meet if you would like to do that. Thank you for your time and for viewing this presentation. I hope to be in contact with you. Thank you.